Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Podcast Posse Podcast. My name is Dan, and this week we'll be discussing whether or not a series, whether in film or in TV, can have a truly satisfying ending. This week we are joined by Brianna, Noah, Katie, and Jade. All right, you guys. So, what do you think? Can we have a truly satisfying ending to a series?
Ooh, we should probably throw out spoiler alerts.
Spoiler alerts, 100% spoiler alerts.
yeah.
No matter if it's Lost, which was a decade ago, or anything. Okay,
The smoke monster.
that's the entirety of the series.
Yeah, that's it.
You don't have to watch it anymore.
It's not worth it.
But we have had the recent endings of both Game of Thrones and the Avengers series.
The Marvel
So
Cinematic Universe.
yes,
Well, it's not the ending.
What do we
Phase
think?
whatever. What was it?
2? Are we going into 3 now?
What?
No.
I think
No,
that was phase
three.
3. I think that was phase 3. The end of phase 3. Yes.
I'm out here wearing a Spider-Man shirt.
Yeah.
If you say it
How do
long
you
enough,
not
it'll
know?
be true.
Cool. Go web, go.
Awesome.
That's where I'm at.
What do you think, though? Seriously,
No.
can you? No.
I think they
Right
can.
off the bat.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Oh,
There's
I
too
thought-
many people to satisfy.
That's true.
And especially when both of the things that you just mentioned, Game of Thrones and the Avengers, they both have source material and then their cinematic or their television counterpart. And those are two completely different audiences
That's
as well
true.
that then have to converge and be satisfied with the ending. So, no. That's my answer.
I mean, but did you see Endgame? Avengers
Yes.
Endgame. You did, and so you weren't satisfied by it at all.
Yes, and also no, only because I don't care about Captain America. We've had this discussion.
I've had this discussion.
I don't care about Captain
I will
America.
fight you till the end of time.
I know you will, but I didn't need 20 minutes of him whining about this woman again. Didn't care.
When he's old?
Yeah, whatever, whatever he's doing. When he's dancing with her, and I was like, I don't care.
Oh, man.
Harsh. So harsh.
Absolutely. I liked the movie. I thought they ended it fine. I can see where other people were, kind of like weak ending. But I think Endgame, if we're going to compare to,
Yeah.
I think Endgame definitely did it better
100%.
than Game of Thrones.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like for Game of Thrones, it was. I don't want to say it was bad, but it wasn't satisfying for me. Like, it could have been better.
They just got bored and they just shoved it all into
Yeah,
6 episodes
I
and
didn't
didn't know how
like
to wrap
that.
things up properly. They didn't follow the same pattern of mystery that the whole series had. They
Right.
didn't keep following the twists and turns that it continually took. They just kind of were like, just put it on like a blank sheet of paper and then like did like bullet points.
Yeah,
rather
like
than,
they rushed
having it
everything
be
all
like
at
a
once.
map.
Yeah.
And so that they just ham-fisted it into one season when it was stuff that should have taken like 3 seasons probably
Yeah.
to unravel.
Oh yeah.
Trtrue.
Oh my gosh. And they
I
even.
mean, I understand like cutting it off before it gets too long,
Yeah.
but they just didn't. I like where the characters went, but I
Right.
don't think they did it. They didn't tell the story properly.
I think they actually did it so poorly that it wasn't until the very end that I realized that I actually got what I wanted from the very beginning, which was the Starks on top. And
You
I
were
was
like,
oh, wait, that's true.
I was like, oh
That's
wait,
true.
but
I was really
now I'm
happy
conflicted.
about that.
Yeah.
I was very happy. It's like at least the good people that I've been rooting for the longest time is finally on top again. Because when the first happened, I was so mad. It's like, why they keep killing off the good people? Like,
See,
why
I
can't they
think
get
that's
rid
the
of
other
evil
thing too.
people?
Endgame clearly cared about their characters.
Yes.
It didn't seem like Game of Thrones cared about their characters anymore at the
No.
end, because I didn't care, and it didn't seem like they cared, and so it was kind of like, yeah, it's the end, And Endgame, it was like clearly a whole thing. They wanted their characters to have endings, the one that had endings, and they wanted the ones that are going to have stories continue to have their stories set up. And so I think that worked out better. There was clearly a love for the characters and the journey that they took. Again, even if everybody wasn't satisfied, I feel like you could see that people cared in Endgame. And you don't see that in Game of Thrones, really, even if they did.
I agree with you 100%. I think it's nice because there is really like one head voice with Marvel too. It's like Kevin Feige,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, he's like the architect of the entire universe in terms of cinema, and like there's really not any higher you can go in
Yeah.
terms of a film career. Like you can't like
I've created an entire universe.
No, there really isn't. Yeah, it's like he's not going to like suddenly abandon it halfway through and be like, I'm going to go do this other project. You're like, you can't really go any higher than that.
No.
You're set for life.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, he seems to be like a hardcore fan himself, so
Yeah,
he
definitely.
actually wants to see it succeed, which we did not.
Which
get
I mean,
with
how
D&D.
long has Game of Thrones been going on?
D&D.
Like, how
10
long
years.
is that?
Yeah,
10
decade.
So then, if you compare them both like that, I mean, the MCU is what, like 11 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So it's like-
Iron Man was 2008.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, somewhere right
And
around
that
there.
was the first one. And so
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, they kind of kicked off at the same time.
Yeah, it
And
really
it's
was.
Like, but
Yeah.
when you like look at the collective, this is it, guys. Like that's what you're being left with, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, and like Endgame, like for me, I was like, perfect. Like I was like, that's exactly what I wanted. Like I'm
Yep.
totally happy with that. Totally cool. Cried. It's fine. Live my life.
Shed
And
a
I was
tear.
like, yeah, like the one,
Yeah.
like,
No, there was the single tear.
and like different things happen. You're like, wait, and you like suck it back up, and you're like, what? But like that was like it for me. But then like everyone else I've talked to with like Game of Thrones, they're like, it's over.
Yeah.
That's
But
it.
like, and then when I
yeah.
talk about Endgame, they're like, it's over, man.
Yeah.
Like that was
It's
it.
true.
did it.
That was
It's
the
true.
journey.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. Like if they kicked off at the same time, it's crazy to see how like that's where they were left off.
You're right.
When I was watching the last episode of Game of Thrones, we sat there and we were just like, wait, really? And then like it got to where John Pets goes and we're like, okay, great ending.
This is all we
John
wanted.
got Pet goes.
Yep.
Everything's
The
fine
true
now.
star.
We're okay. But like other than that, it was just like we were just sitting there like, okay. Like we didn't have like that excitement since the battle episode with Up in the North where they like were fighting and then like with Arya and everything you're like
Oh yeah.
screaming
Yeah,
and
that
like,
was
super
yeah,
That
excited.
was-
I did scream.
Yep, I
in
screamed
that
too.
episode, I screamed at
Yep.
the end of that. Yeah, I was
That
pumped
was-
about that one.
at least they
That
gave
was
us that.
awesome.
Yeah,
True.
that was the last episode that it was actually like good.
Yep.
It was very powerful.
And then
It was
the last 3 episodes it was just like
yeah.
And?
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
I think too, like Game of Thrones comes down to like singular performances. Like a lot of people are happy with Peter Dinklage and like his character arc, and a lot of people are pretty okay with John and his character arc, kind of. But like the series as a whole, I don't feel like people feel like it's complete or whole and like stuff is missing. Whereas with Endgame,
Right.
I feel like it wasn't like about one person. I mean, obviously, you know, you had Robert Downey Jr. leaving, but it wasn't just about him. People just loved the whole thing.
Yep. It was everyone. Like they do such a good job of balancing that sort of ensemble cast, whereas this like end of Game of Thrones felt more like it wasn't really that balanced. It was just
Yeah.
kind of like Sansa was kind of an afterthought. It was just she just kind of did
And
stuff.
she's
I'm like,
so cool now.
well like they did put in a really powerful thing that was kind of not noticed was throughout the entire series she always copied the person who she wanted to be. She always copied their hair.
Oh.
And so in the very beginning, she had really simple braids like Catelyn did. And then she moved down to King's Landing and she was copying Cersei's hair. And then Marjorie came in and she was copying Marjorie's hair. And she continued to do that throughout the entire series. And then at the very end, the last shot, her hair is completely straight. There's no braids in it at all. And she's finally being her own person. She's being her own leader and ruling how she wants. And she's not trying to
That's
be
me.
somebody else.
how can they get that kind of detail so right and yet mess up
Because
so
it's the
much?
costume designers that
Yeah.
Oh,
did that
yeah,
so
so
much.
there you
that-
go.
And if you look at the costumes do tell a huge
Oh, yeah.
part of it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I think
You know exactly where they're at based on
yeah.
the costume.
Yeah.
And so that the costume designer is an incredible woman. She did a fantastic job with Game of Thrones.
I saw that
And
video
so-
too. Did you watch that? Yeah.
See, but those like details are like what I live for. Like I'm not even like those are like incredible. Like when like in Endgame he's like I love you 3,000. The
Yeah.
entire MCU is 3,000 minutes long, and it's like those like small
Wait,
things.
really?
I love
Yeah.
his face every
Yeah,
time
'cause,
a
like,
new
that's
thing comes
crazy,
up.
His
right?
mind is
like
blown.
those. 'Cause, I mean, like,
How about a
when
fast
you-
fact?
When you first hear it, yeah, like little fun fact. For
Yeah.
you. But, like when you first hear it, you're like, oh, like that's cute, 3,000. But it's like those like little things have like so much meaning behind them.
Yeah.
And you're like same thing with just
Dang.
like how like one person's hair throughout one thing is like there's so much in depth about it. But it's like those like little things. I'm like, yes, more of that.
See what happens when people care about what they're
see,
making.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like there's no Starbucks things on the
Oh my gosh, and the water bottle at the end. Do you think
Oh
that?
my gosh.
How do you not notice that? Like, that just
That's what I'm saying. That's
astounds
why I
me.
feel like they were just like, all right, let's wrap it up. And then
Yeah.
like they were going through it. Like, you know how much editing has to go into
And
all
you
of
didn't
these?
notice
Like,
it and
what?
weren't
And they're
able to
like,
cut it
Yeah.
out.
someone saw it. Like, somebody saw
And
it.
went-
And they're like,
I mean, especially
Last
the coffee
episode.
cup. The water bottle, I can understand how
Yes.
that was missed because it was like
Behind
a
his leg, kind
splinter
of.
that you could
Yeah.
see in it. But the coffee cup is
it's
on a table.
Yeah, it looked like they were like in the middle of a break. And they're like, oh, we're gonna go? All right, go for it. Yeah, we're good now. Like,
Yeah.
I have no idea how that was not caught. That was unbelievably sloppy.
It
I just
sucks
don't
that they
even get
took it out. Don't take it out.
Just leave it as a monument.
Yes, I mean, like everybody knows it was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So who
We're going
cares
back.
if it's there? Like leave it. You know what I mean? It became a meme. Let it live on.
Yeah.
You know? Gosh, people are so stingy.
There's so much to talk about with both of these movies, but yeah, I don't know. It's with Game of Thrones. It's just so disappointing how poorly it did, and it's pretty obvious why they did it too. Just in the fact that like they saw another project ahead of them, both the creators, and they're
Yeah.
like, nope, peace out. We're gonna go do this other thing.
Bye.
Yep. I mean, even if it is Star Wars, which I get, I understand. Trust me.
How are
But
they gonna do on that? Are they gonna?
that's what I'm
do
worried about
it?
too.
It might be better. Maybe they were just like burnt out on this universe and these characters, which I guess is fine, and I understand when you've been doing the same thing. But again, you have Endgame.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
And that's like the comparison that
That's
you
where you see
have
the
now, where you see
contrast.
people who still care
Yep.
that far in. And it's
Yeah.
like, if you don't care, fine, I guess, but like bring somebody in that does that.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly,
mean?
yeah.
And like
Do a
have
little
them be the front
substitution,
end
you
of
know,
that.
Tag them out.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, you can pick up on this. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my Starbucks cup with me.
No, I'm going to leave it here.
We're gonna leave it in the shot
in
because of the
Endgame,
principle.
everyone was like, this is what we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
Like, as a team, collectively, it was like that halftime speech from the coach, and they're like, we're gonna go out there and give it our best. And then in Game of Thrones, we're like, we're down 20. We're not coming back.
Just
It's
have
fine.
fun.
We
Yeah,
got-
yeah, just
go out there,
have fun.
play the game you want to have. Like, what? Like, that was it.
I mean, you can even see it with a lot of the actors too in Game of Thrones. They're just like, "Yep, like that's how it's gonna be." Like, there's a
That's
lot
what
of
we're gonna
interviews
do.
where they're just not.
Oh my gosh, the interviews
Like,
about this last
Amelia
season.
Clark,
Yeah.
there's a lot where she's just like,
Oh. I really loved the way my character ended.
yeah. But and
Oh my
that
gosh.
that alone tells you how little care was put into it.
Yeah, it's not even up for debate at this point. That's just ridiculous how bad it was. Ugh.
If you liked the Game of Thrones finale, Daniel says you don't exist.
Someone in our audience does.
Someone. Who
A
knows
discordant
who?
voice enters from.
A disembodied voice. Who is that?
All right, perfect. Well, I think we have a pretty good consensus on some of the things that have come out pretty recently. But when we come back, we will address some previous both flubs and successes in terms of wrapping up a series. So stay tuned.
If you are interested in a career in sports broadcasting, whether you're commentating a live game,
or hosting your own TV show,
or working behind the scenes, then this is the class for you.
For more information, contact Greg Poff, that's me, at solano.edu.
we hope to see you here next semester. And remember,
It's more than just sports, it's an education.
To the second segment of this week's edition of the Podcast Posse Podcast. So now we have to address some both flubs and successes from over the years. Does anyone want to start off with either a flub or a success? And we'll go from there.
I think a success was Harry Potter.
Ooh.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
Yeah.
lived
No.
through those books growing up. I would read them once a year. I would read the entire series. Like
Yeah.
I
Says the guy with the Spider-Man shirt. Such a nerd.
love those books growing up, and so watching and I think they did a really good adaptation of the books into
Yeah.
the movies, and I think they did a good job, and they successfully ended it. based
did,
on the
yeah.
books. I think it was a really good job. They properly did it, and
I think so too.
like, I mean, I know a lot of people weren't happy when they were originally doing the last book and they split it up into 2 movies. Because
Yeah.
they're like, well, why couldn't
But
you have
I
done that
mean,
with other
you
ones
gotta
and
make
like
that money, though.
fulfilled
Yeah.
everything?
Yeah.
Made it
But
out.
they did a good job and they were able to successfully tell the whole story and complete that universe.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I
I
was
agree.
actually like all of them. I was like, good job.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a little bit of a
nice.
lull, like
Really?
and like Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah,
was one.
I
I,
mean-
feel like that was their
But
lull.
I think also the
Yeah, it's
book
alright.
They weren't bad. I
wasn't-
still loved
Yeah.
them.
Yeah,
but
it was
like,
good.
the best one, I think, across the board, everyone agrees with this was Prisoner of Azkaban. Is that
Oh,
just me?
In terms of movies?
Did we agree?
Or
The best
movies or
one?
books?
Mine was
Oh,
I was gonna say Goblet of
Goblet of
Fire
Fire.
is
Goblet
pretty
of Fire
bomb.
is
But I don't know. I always
Goblet of
Day
Fire
one.
for book, maybe Prisoner of Azkaban for movie.
Movie, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would put.
Oh, Goblet
Yeah.
of Fire was my
Yeah.
movie, bro.
I
I
like
was
that,
like,
yeah.
Wizard Olympics? What?
Wizard
Oh
Olympics.
my God,
What?
yes, that was the number one. That was like the greatest thing, and it has like one of the funniest things ever.
Cedric
when the
Diggory?
homie, when that homie dies, like that.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
The funniest
They-
thing
That's
ever.
the funniest thing
yes,
ever.
okay, because look at it this way. They like teleport, and the only thing he's focused on is like, it's a port key. That's the only thing he's not like, we're in a cemetery, what's
No.
going on? None of that. He's supposed to be like one of the best wizards out here, and he's like, Harry, it's a port key, bro. Like, it just teleported us, and like Harry's the only one like, bro, like we're in the cemetery,
Like,
something's
what,
going
like,
on.
where
I
are
love this
we now?
bro
Yeah, it's like-
play-by-play.
Yo, bro.
It's like, it's a port key, and I'm like, yeah, bro, but you're in a cemetery. Like, oh, the greatest.
There it is. That's the movie for you. That's all you need to know.
That is
Play-by-play
all
right
of the
there.
Goblet of Fire.
That's it.
Great.
Is only that
And everything
interaction.
before it is
Bro.
perfect too.
I will put, like, I will just throw this out there too. In terms of the wizarding world, for them, I feel like it's not all that creepy to be in a cemetery. Because
Do
some
you think they
like,
hang out in cemeteries a lot?
Not necessarily cemeteries,
I've
but they're in
You
like
have to get like frog feet and
Yeah.
rat tails and
Sure,
you're in,
but
like,
that's different than a
dank and dusty.
cemetery.
You're like hanging out in dungeons and like
Who's
you're in
hanging
like
out in dungeons?
the Slytherins.
Talking about
The Slytherin's common room is in the dungeons.
It's just
they literally describe them being green because the lake water makes it green because of the windows that they
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
in
that's
there.
right.
It
And
is,
there's
out in
deleted. No, that was in.
that it's not in it. It's
Oh,
just
is it
in the
deleted
Special
scene?
features? I
Oh,
didn't have-
dang it! It wasn't a deleted scene. I forgot. I always think that it's in the movie, man. But that is a good suggestion, though.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a
That
lot.
was a good one. I don't even know what to follow up with that one because that was like solid.
I'm really
That was
trying to
good.
think about a
Yeah,
show
I'm
where
trying-
I was like beginning to end.
101. Zoe 101 did a great job for me.
I don't remember the
I'm
ending.
gonna
I'll be
let you
honest
just
with you. I
stand that
remember
on
the
your
scooters.
own.
I'm gonna have that. Someone out there.
No
will agree with
comment.
me. Zoe 101 was satisfying when it ended.
I've got.
But didn't
That's
they like
fine.
like a few, like 4 years ago or something? They put out that small clip and then they didn't do anything else with it, right?
Yeah, but no,
Wow.
I think it was like a joke though. I don't think it was a real.
Ha, gotcha.
It had to have been a joke.
Your
I remember
childhood,
when that-
huh?
Yeah,
But I do
everyone
remember
was
that,
like,
yeah.
"Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen?" And then they did nothing after that, and it was just like,
Nothing. Jamie Lynn Spears is a parent
Just a
now.
tease.
Dang.
I've got my all-time favorite success for television: Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect
Solid.
wrap up, solid
Solid.
story from beginning to end,
Probably
progression.
one of the best
Yep.
like animated ones I've ever
Definitely.
Futurama.
Really?
Futurama they did it a good way. They basically made it so that the last episode they were going back in time and
Yeah.
having to start it all over, so you could just basically
pretty
get to
cool.
start at the beginning and watch it
That-
all
yeah.
through.
I
That was-
guess.
that was
I
a
guess.
It's a really
Yeah.
clever
With
That
like
was
a
smart.
different
Do it.
like
Yeah.
mindset, having seen what you already saw too. That's cool. I like that. Oh, okay.
Good one.
That's an
Yeah.
unexpected
Dang.
one. I like that a
Wow.
lot.
Kitty's out here gunning them down.
Right? She's throwing some good ones out here.
Who else has seen all of Breaking Bad?
Oh yeah.
No.
Breaking Bad.
Haven't watched it.
That's probably like top 5 shows I've ever seen like all time.
It is. Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
for real.
It's such a solid show.
It's like amazing. And like at first when I did like watch like the ending and everything, I was like, I mean, yeah, but I think it was more just because I was sad that I didn't have anything to watch afterwards.
It is the
Yeah,
post-series
that
depression.
like,
Yes.
oh.
Yeah, like I was like
Yeah.
it doesn't
Now I
say
have to-
play
What am I gonna do on
next
Sundays?
episode, and it just like gives you a random trailer for a different show, and you're like, wait,
Yeah, but what's happening next episode?
Just happened, and you're like, but yeah, that
That sounded suspiciously similar to your 6-year-old.
No, a 13-year-old.
No, a
remember? It
13-year-old.
was a
Excuse me.
13-year-old.
13-year-old. Excuse me. Yeah, there have been like just particular episodes in that series are just so solid. The acting
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
Definitely.
But even from when he was back in Malcolm in the Middle too, it's like
Yeah.
you had to know that like his acting was just
Yeah.
so on point.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Breaking Bad.
What was this?
Brian
Are you
Cranston.
trying
Brian
to fight?
No. I'm sorry. There's this side conversation going on.
Oh, we're really coming out right now.
Yeah, no, Breaking Bad I think was A1, definitely. Like, start to finish, I was like
100%.
dedicated, 100%.
Really, there's not like a season you would have skipped.
Nope.
No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
Like,
No, I mean,
like,
because honestly, because there's so many
No,
shows that
that's
go on
true,
for a
yeah.
long time,
And
and
you
they're
can
like,
be
don't
like-
even bother,
No,
you know,
can
with this
literally
season.
be like that
I agree
entire
with you.
season.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't-
but like
yeah,
on
don't watch
Breaking
it.
Bad, I feel like just more stuff keeps happening where you're like, I don't need sleep, I need answers, and you just keep it going like the whole time.
I don't even sleep.
That
I
was
do
me
answer.
with The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
I could not stop watching
That's
it.
a-
I had
yeah.
to watch it start to finish.
That's
That
a good
was
one.
It
really
was
good.
so good, and I liked how they ended it. I think. I mean, it could have been better. I was like, I mean,
Immediately retracted.
Okay.
like,
Immediately
We're gonna
retracted.
switch this thing up.
It was pretty good, and then like finding out later how they wanted to end it but didn't. Have you guys all watched it?
I mean, I've watched
actually
it. I don't
haven't
know how they
watched
wanted
any
to
of it
do
yet.
I don't want to
It's really
say
good.
it.
I know.
Don't say it.
I
don't
know.
wanna say it.
It's so
You
good.
can find the theories on. You can find the story online of how they wanted to end it, but
Okay.
definitely recommend watching it. It was really good, really
See,
solid.
but like after I watched the one, I'm like, do they want a season 2?
I don't think so.
You know,
I don't
'cause
think
that's
they
why-
should do a season 2. I think they should
that's
keep
the
Ooh, I
thing
love it
with,
when they tie it up
um,
with a bow. I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Just
That's the
end
thing
it.
with like certain
Yep.
Netflix shows like that, where I'm like, it's like that one season, and you're like hooked the entire time, but then you're like, I don't really know if they should do a second season. Like,
And I
that
don't
was,
think they
Shampoo.
should.
like
I
that
don't know
was
if
it
they
for
are,
me, you
but-
know, like that was a good ride, and then they're gonna come up with season 2, and I'm gonna be like, all right, I mean,
Why
I'm
are we
gonna give it a
still
try,
here?
and then you're like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
You
Big
could've
Little
kept it at
Lies was
one.
supposed to be just only one season, but now a second season's coming out, and I'm so scared it's gonna get ruined.
I kind of am too, but also I love Zoe
But yeah,
Kravitz, so I'm super excited.
It's kind of, I mean, that's kind of like 13 Reasons Why, like one season,
Oh,
one book.
Yeah.
No, it's
true.
literally a book.
All you need.
And
you're
then they
good.
were just like,
And
you
now
know
they're
what
like,
it needs?
We're making money.
Yeah.
Pump out the seasons. Here we go. And it's like, I mean,
not that I'm mad at that show because it does
No, I
film
mean,
around here. And I
yes,
kind of
yeah, no,
like
that
little
part
piece
is
of
really
trivia.
cool.
You can
That-
kind of
that
Oh my
part
gosh,
is really cool
calm
about it.
down. You're from
But I mean,
Vacaville.
I work in Vallejo. I did a standby at the filming. Come on.
Wow. My friend was in a scene. Actually, a couple of my friends were, because everybody was like, we're going down to downtown. I was like, okay, have fun. I'm going to stay in my bed.
But no, I love that too. I like when things film locally and stuff, but like in terms of wrapping things up, no, that's 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah.
It's not gonna.
see, but that's why I'm
not
super
happening.
scared for Stranger Things. Because I feel like
Oh,
it's
they're-
incredible, like one of like the greatest shows I've ever seen.
Yep.
But also I'm like getting scared because it's like, what are we gonna do? Like when I feel like it's gonna be that like Game of Thrones syndrome, where we're gonna be like, is that it? Or
How do we
like,
wrap
do
Well,
we
see,
go?
I even feel like last season was a little bit chunky for me. Like,
Yeah?
I
I
agree.
felt like
Yeah.
there was some
definitely
things
some
that they
parts where I was
clearly
like-
wanted to make a thing that just
Yeah.
it wasn't working and nobody really cared. So I'm hoping that they kind of just go, okay, people didn't care about that. We're not gonna
Let's just
dive deeper
gloss
into
over
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's fine.
That was an issue I had with Orphan Black.
I never
which
finished
nobody's
Orphan
watched
Black.
it.
I never finished.
It's so good though, and I really enjoyed it. But
Tell us.
they started to just like. I think they ended the series well. They knew after 5 seasons that this is going to be the end, and so they tied things up really well. But just like continually throughout the series, they would just drop certain things and just get rid of it because
Yeah.
they didn't successfully tie it back and end off that storyline. And so they're just like really like there's one character and I just want to know what happened to him, but he just disappeared.
He's gone because nobody cared.
It's really sad. And he was, the same actor was in Game of Thrones, Dario.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
He's in there and he's like same thing. He just disappears in Game of Thrones too, and I was just like, oh, I really liked him. He was a cool dude. And
Oh,
I guess
where'd
he's
he
just gonna
go?
disappear again in another series. Okay, but yeah, that was a show that like had a good ending, even though endings of seasons weren't the best. The ending of the series was pretty confident.
Gotcha.
They were
Okay.
able to get it back
They
together.
pulled it out at the end.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as like things that have gone wrong and off the rails, like really bad series, you guys have seen House of Cards or Dexter?
I've heard
Yeah,
about
either
it,
one.
but never
Okay.
seen
House of really no one has seen House of Cards?
No, I like
Interesting.
started
No.
it here and there. but
I don't
never-
care.
I didn't. I didn't dedicate.
Wow,
myself
those are
to it.
fighting words. Dang.
Sorry. I just
Coming
didn't.
out strong.
Nothing about the show made me be like, yeah, I'll watch it. I don't think that I would have enjoyed it anyway.
But I think like
Political
Kevin
thrillers.
Spacey's like top notch.
Oh, he's
I
such a
used to
solid
love
actor.
him.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
awesome.
Like fire.
I mean,
Well,
obviously now.
he's an awesome actor.
He's a great actor. There's no.
Let me let me go ahead.
And American Beauty.
Tell us
Yeah.
more about your.
Look, good actor, not a great person.
Wait, why?
Oh boy.
What do you mean? Yeah, but I mean, House of Cards, like I know, or same thing with like Mad Men, like stuff like that. Like I never really got into those, but I mean, they
Yeah.
have like they're one of those like, oh, like people are like 5-star rating, you know, like crazy good shows. But I haven't dedicated myself to it. But I mean, I don't know how people feel on like how they like wrapped up.
Those two shows are kind of along the same veins though, because Mad Men was really what put AMC into like the stratosphere.
Yeah,
'Cause, like
definitely.
AMC didn't really have. They just had movies. They just showed movies all the time
Yeah,
on
they
their
were
show.
the American movie classics.
There you go. Exactly.
It's what they show.
That's literally what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then that show really put them into the next level, and then Breaking Bad was shortly after that, and then
Into the
Breaking Bad
Badlands.
was-
Into the Bad. I loved Into the Badlands. Yeah, and it's still going on.
I mean, Walking
But-
Dead. That's AMC.
Sure.
Walking Dead. Well,
Is
okay.
that AMC?
Let's not get into
You
that one
started
because
a
that's not
thing.
even.
Oh,
That's
no.
gonna be.
I'm not affiliated.
no.
with Walking Dead.
Yeah, that show isn't even done yet, and I'm like.
Kill it.
See, but
Yeah.
that's,
Kill it with
that's
fire.
Like, that's like
Yeah.
where I've been like, oh, it's still going. Like that's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, it should.
You don't wanna
I
be
for
at that
sure
level.
thought it was over by now. And
Yeah.
then somebody was like, oh yeah, talking about it. I was like, that's still a thing?
Yeah. That's literally how I reacted. They're like, oh yeah, there's an episode tonight. And I'm like, who keeps track of that? How do you know that that's a thing? What? Like that?
They've got their TV guide out.
Yeah,
Oh god,
Flipping through.
that's right.
definitely.
What's on the television? Just warm up my dinner on the TV tray.
On it, you're warming it up on the TV tray. That's
Well,
some advanced
I
technology.
don't,
dude.
yep. This is a
my
very
gosh.
rich
I
old
don't
show.
know what Daniel thinks watches
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walking Dead there.
We know that demographic.
I mean, I'm not wrong
Their
because
TVs
no
have
one
two
I know
antennas.
actually still watches it.
Yeah.
So
No, you're right.
yep.
You be right.
Yeah, there's I don't know, there's a few others that I know are definitely floating out there in terms of bad wrap-ups, and I think I blocked
Isn't
most
it
of them from my
Sopranos was
memory.
one that everybody was really pissed about?
That was a really
Or just
famous
cut
one.
to black.
It was. It did.
Yeah.
It just cut to in the middle of this person's sentence. They literally were
But
just
don't
like,
they normally do that anyway? Isn't that their signature? Like, don't they normally do that? And like every other like episode, it just cuts to black.
I don't know. I didn't watch. I just know people were
I
really
don't
upset
know.
about the cut to black.
we're just talking
I
about
thought that was.
how
I
people were
thought, that's what I'm
upset.
saying. I thought that was like a thing though. Like almost every episode, like it just like somebody would be doing something, all of a sudden, boom. All right, next episode.
Huh, I didn't get that
I
feeling.
think
from
maybe
that.
they just felt like maybe towards the ending, like they should have followed through instead of doing that.
do
part.
something different.
Let
like
him finish
actually.
his sentence.
What was he gonna say?
What are your guys' opinions on Star Wars and this current
Like
trilogy?
where-
Oh,
Watched
thank
none
you.
of
This is
them.
the perfect like.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the really original ones in either.
Oh, I've watched
Oh,
all
I
the
was
original
asleep.
okay.
ones.
I ain't gonna lie, I was little and I saw it and I fell asleep.
She's been asleep for the last 20 years. And she'll never wake up
just
to
woke
watch
up.
those movies.
Yep.
Every time a Star Wars movie's on, she's like,
Nap time, cat nap.
Narcoleptic only with Star Wars. The second you hear a lightsaber activate, you're just like,
that's great.
you're out. I'm really concerned because okay, no, the last, okay.
Hey, now.
I have so many
Guys.
thoughts in my brain that want to come out all at the same time that I can't even form a coherent sentence. But I'm going to try. Force Awakens, straight up, it was an exact replica of A New Hope. It was an exact replica of an old movie. Do not like that.
We already talked about how we feel about remakes.
Yes, we had to talk about this. And then they decided, well, let's not do that again and go as far away from that as possible. And I didn't like that either. So
Was that Rogue One?
no, that was
that was
the last.
I just
Jedi.
know because Alan Tudyk, and I love Alan Tudyk. Sorry. I haven't watched any of the new ones.
Okay, well, you might want to do that.
I really shouldn't, according to you.
I mean,
You're
apparently
going
not.
off on a rant about how you don't like them.
I want you to be as angry as
aspect-
I am. You
I'm
don't
sorry.
understand.
That's another aspect that's like going on with the whole like Star Wars thing though, is how they're putting out like the little side stories as they go. I don't know how I feel about that. Cause like when
I
Rogue
fine
One,
with it.
I like
Yeah,
it.
When-
I like the
Rogue
standalone.
No,
yeah,
Rogue One
Loved
was
Solo.
super good.
Yeah.
Solo, I was like,
it was
It was a
alright.
different
see,
feeling.
like
for
literally,
was.
my
But
favorite
I
part about
still-
Solo was
I liked it.
Childish Gambino, and that's it.
Oh, he
And I
was
like,
great.
Yeah,
I will
but
say
other
that.
than that, I was like, I don't really care about
My
this.
favorite part about Rogue One were the trailers that I watched that featured Alan Tudyk. Because I did not watch the movie.
See, but like, if they're gonna continue that like going, like, cause I mean, I do like it, but I don't know how I feel like as they continue. Like, what are we gonna keep getting hit with? You know, like, is it gonna be like, oh, this is Yoda when he's 12, like, or like, what are we like? Where are they gonna go? You know?
I don't know.
Wait, can we please see Toyo and Yoda?
I think the next trilogy is supposed to be like the beginning of the
universe
Empire.
Okay.
And like back to the like no characters that are currently in
No,
it. Like,
yeah, everyone.
super far back long ago.
A long time ago in a galaxy far,
Wait, can
far
we
away.
see
you
young
say?
Palpatine?
Yeah,
Baby
that'd be
Palpatine?
cool.
12-year-old Palpatine.
Well, Palpatine is supposed to be
It'll
in
be
this
a
next
kids
one
movie though.
too.
Yeah,
In
really,
episode 9,
yeah.
with the wrap up, they're bringing back. He was the villain in the original series. He's the villain in the prequel series, and now he's going to be the final villain in this one. Might as well.
Palpatine.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
He's gonna connect all the Infinity Stones.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if that just popped in. Honestly, I'd be like, cool, let's do this. Fine. We're merging all Disney.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
No, I am scared though of where they're gonna, how
What's
they're
gonna
gonna
happen?
like. That was all of it.
Like
And we're
that
gonna be like,
that kiss between Rose and Finn. I was just like,
that. Okay, that was
I don't even know
100%
who
like
Rose
ad libbed,
is.
right?
I
There's
don't
no
know.
way they wrote
Like,
that
you
because
really
the
were like,
homie
she
was like,
kisses him.
yeah, and that's why he's like just waiting, like, oh, like you're supposed to die now. But she was like, I'm gonna kiss him. Like, you know, like that's,
she did it as a joke, and then they're like,
yeah,
actually, we
but they're
like that. Let's
that
keep
was
that
cool.
in.
Make it more awkward real quick, and then we're gonna keep it. Like, it was so bad. It didn't look like he enjoyed that at all. Like the Finn guy was like, okay, we're gonna. Yeah, let's go ahead. It was like in Split when he kisses the girl. It was like that. It was so bad. Like, can I kiss you? It was like that. But like Rose was like Split.
Your voice acting is
That's
phenomenal.
how it was. Yeah.
What is happening right now?
You guys don't know that part in Split?
I
when he
remember
kisses the
that
girl?
part.
Yeah,
definitely.
no.
That's how it was.
Yes.
But like with Rose and Finn, it was so bad. I was like,
That was definitely part of their plan, though. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Did they?
That did not
Do
happen
they?
by accident. I know. They knew what
A
they
lot
were
of
doing.
confidence in people.
It wasn't.
I don't know.
It wasn't a good choice, but I mean, they knew what they were doing. At
let's
least in my
hope they know
opinion.
what they're
I did
doing.
not like it.
Yep, I agree. And I know that's not a wrap up, and I know we're talking about wrap ups of series, but needless to
But
say,
we're
I
still
don't
waiting on
think
that last.
the last one. I don't have high hopes going in, so I
Yeah.
hope to be pleasantly surprised.
Which I'm sad about, because like when The Force Awakens was like coming out, I was like, what? We're coming back. Here we go. And like now I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess I'll see it like when like when it comes out, like cool. But I'm not
Excited.
like, I don't have that hype that came with the other ones.
Like Endgame.
And I feel like, yeah, like with Endgame, I was like, my whole life depends on this.
Wow.
And like
Like-
now I'm just like, yes.
Like, I remember
that's
when
cool.
like Force Awakens trailer came out, I was super stoked for
Yeah.
it. And then
Yep.
after watching it, I
Tears.
was like, I enjoyed it. You know, it was exciting. It was something new.
Definitely.
And then when the second trailer came out, I was like ready for it. And then this one, I haven't even watched the trailer for the third one. Isn't the trailer
know
out
there
or
was a
something?
trailer.
And
Teaser
I'm like,
trailer.
I just
Yeah.
haven't even had any interest to watch it. And I
No, Ray
love
just like
Star
does a
Wars, so-
backflip over a thing. And
Oh,
then,
It's
okay. I
actually
have
kinda
seen it.
cool.
I have seen her
It is
do that
actually kinda cool.
backflip.
She
I
does,
did
yeah,
see
she does
that
a backflip. And
Yeah.
then,
Plus Billy Lando's in it.
That's like
Yeah.
he remembers the back.
yeah, he's in it.
I do remember
And
her
then
doing
the
a
Emperor
backflip.
laughs. And then,
Yep, that's how we know Palpatine's in it, because the Emperor laughs.
But someone edited it and put Seth Rogen's laugh. That was incredible. That was like the best thing about the trailer.
I think we're getting a little off track.
X-Men ended amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
X-Men no, I'm not talking about the new ones. New generation, whatever, back in time.
I know what
days
you
Are you talking about
past.
TV
Back
show,
in
or are you
time.
talking? What are you talking?
No,
What are
he's
you
talking about the
talking
movies.
about? I'm talking about the movies.
Like X-Men: The Last Stand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you?
Are you being serious that you think it ended amazingly?
I'm saying for what that was compared to the second movie. Yeah, they halfway saved that. No, I'm serious. They
No.
halfway saved that.
Nope. Nope.
Okay. You know
Nope.
what? Daniel's word is final here. It sucked. It was awful. They did nothing right.
Just take a look at the Rotten Tomatoes if you don't believe me. 100%.
Who looks at Rotten Tomatoes?
man.
What
Just
is
take a look.
That's how I feel. I don't.
Who looks
Yep.
at Rotten
I don't know about Rotten
Tomatoes?
Tomatoes.
For me, then, I was like, yeah, you kind of saved it. But I also love Jean Grey, so.
I mean, like no knocking her performance or
No,
Logan's.
she killed it.
Anyway.
They were the two people who killed it. That's
They
what
were
I'm
the best.
saying.
It was
They
awesome.
halfway saved it.
No, I totally liked it. No, everything else was trash.
I totally liked it.
No, I liked
Clip
their
that.
performances.
Clip that.
I liked it.
How do you guys feel about like? Did you guys were you guys fans of like the Hunger Games movies and whatnot?
No.
I love the books.
I was
Dang, that was
no,
cool.
I mean, now we
That's
can
kinda how I was.
tie it
like-
into books where like the first
Yeah.
2 books were really good. The third book completely, she was done writing it, so she just smashed everything into it, published
Yep.
it, and I remember reading it and then like reading and being like a chapter goes by and then like, wait, this person died? Like I did
Oh my
not
gosh,
catch that
yes.
person died a chapter before. Her writing just like was like he
Who
died
got
and
eaten
then
by the alligator?
that was
That
Finnick.
threw me off. That was like
Oh,
that was the-
That
yeah.
was the person that I didn't even
Yes,
realize
I was like-
died until later, and then I was like,
That was the kid
Whoa,
at
wait.
Disneyland.
who at
That was the
Disneyland
kid
died?
at Disneyland. That happened at like Disney. It was like Disney World
He
or something.
got eaten by
Yeah, a
alligators?
kid got eaten by an alligator or something.
Wait, are
you
we talking about
talking
real
about?
life?
Yeah, it was like
Is
a
this?
real life thing. Yeah.
Oh.
I just wanted to throw
said
that in there because someone got eaten by an alligator. It was related. The kid. Rest in peace.
What's happening right now?
It's related.
Oh my god.
Oh my
okay.
god.
He got a dash in his dark moon.
Good throw that out.
It's related.
I think we can all agree that there are plenty of properties that did not end well. In fact, the
Most of
majority,
them.
the vast majority did not end well. But there are little nuggets out
Props to
there.
Harry Potter.
Props to Harry Potter, 100%.
Props to Alan Rickman.
Props to Alan Rickman.
Love him.
and Breaking Bad.
So Harry Potter, Breaking Bad, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay, he's just
Those are the
throwing
three.
it.
There you
What
go.
watch for the rest of your life.
That's it. Those are the
That's
only
all
3
you ever
properties.
need.
Be satisfied.
Everything else,
Disappointment.
avoid.
Be prepared for it.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us in the season finale of the Podcast Posse Podcast. And we will see you all next fall.
That rhymed.
The exponential growth from the program from my first year to my third year now, that's what keeps me coming back and keeps me excited and just like fulfills me as a person.
It's so impressive, and we every time we walk in here, you guys are doing something different. It's great. It's
Nothing but opportunities here, and we have sports to cover, we have the equipment.
Because the more ambitious you are, the more opportunities you'll have.
on-the-job training is huge.
You get the hands-on experience.
When someone asks who can do it, you can raise your hand and say, I can do it. So.
Joining the class was the best decision I ever made.
Stand by, we're going to go to cut 1. And cut 1.
Cross court to Audrey Jones. Audrey for 3! It is good! With 1.3 seconds left on the game clock, Audrey Jones with one of the biggest shots.
The sky's the limit, really, with what we can do here.
College just got affordable. Up to 100% of enrollment fees can be reimbursed for first-time college students taking full-time classes. At Solano Community College, we are taking full advantage of this to further your future. With certificate and degree programs in industrial technology, aeronautics, biotechnology, and many others, Solano Community College is a staple for success. For more information, please contact the Financial Aid Office at 707-864-7000.